Welcome folks, and today I'm going to be ranking the best Kidō users in Bleach. I will be mainly pulling from the mangas, novels, and data books for feats, and we'll use the anime-only feats as tiebreakers. The Zero Division, with the exception of one character, will be excluded on the basis that their skill is basically unknowable. Some of them have performed Kidō or have a singular statement about Kidō, but nothing that would allow me to actually gauge their power. Their age should also give them knowledge, but again, there is so little on them, I couldn't make a fair assessment on them. Cringy being an example of being proficient in Kaido, but that's all he has to his name. They also have Kidō seeming abilities, but we don't know what they are, so with that, I'll be moving forward. The main criteria for this video is feats, so keep that in mind. Number 10, Soi-Fon. Starting off at number 10, we have Soi-Fon. Put some respect on this girl's name, Soi-Fon Hater's Despair. Because without any training or prompting from Yoruichi, Soi-Fon came up with and developed Shunko all on her own in a shorter amount of time than Yoruichi did. Shunko is the highest form of Hakudo or hand-to-hand combat where the user combines her physical body with the power of Kidō, essentially creating a new type of Kidō. The Kidō requirement seemed to require slightly above average Kidō usage, as her Kidō score originally was only a 60 in the first databook. However, when she later mastered Shunko, she created a perpetual motion Shunko of wind energy that allowed her to pull on its power whenever she needed for however long she needed. And she doesn't lack in structured spells either, as she can throw out level 30 Bakudo and lock down powerful Rankar with no chance. Pretty impressive to have a Shunko master at number 10, but sadly she doesn't go any higher. Number 9, Nanao. Some people might be surprised to see Nanao in the number 9 spot over captains, but this helps me reiterate my criteria that pure Kidō strength won't get you far on this list. Nanao has a lot going for her in the Kidō department, as she graduated the Shino Academy solely on the basis of her Kidō, which I imagine is very impressive. That feat would normally get you sent to the Kidō Corps. Kidō Corps are a separate branch of the Seirete, being equivalent to the Gotei 13, just with different duties. Nanao in the anime has performed mid-level Kidōs in the 60s with no incantation, but I'm normally a manga purist, and even when we look at that, she is exceptional. She created an anti-Quincy barrier capable of rejecting the Grand Master of the Sternritter army, who is second to only Yūhaba in status and power. When he eventually broke that barrier, she on the fly created a barrier with a similar ability, but a wholly different structure. But the feat doesn't stop there. If Jugrum would have attempted to attack or break the hexagon pattern like he did before, he would have caught a nasty trap waiting for him. Sadly, what other trick it actually did we never got to see. Maybe we'll see it in the anime. She reconstructed a barrier on the fly and added to it in the same process to turn it into a Trojan horse. No character behind her has anything like that except maybe Hinamori. She is only number 9, by the way. Number 8, Unohana. Retsu is in a weird place. She doesn't have a lot of Kidō feats, but the ones she does have are just mind-blowing. First, let's preface this by saying Unohana had only ever shown skill with one type of Kidō in the manga, and that's Kaido. Kidō has 3 breakdowns: Hado for attacking spells, Bakudo for spells that bind, block, blind, or barrier/seal. Kaido is Kidō just for healing purposes. Retsu exclusively shows her Kaido skill in the manga by healing important characters from mortal wounds, and even grievous ones for herself. However, her most notable is reviving Kenpachi Zaraki from the brink of death a literal countless number of times. This is a feat that I don't think anyone could replicate, not even Korinji. Now, the ease of this feat may have to do with how Ryatsu works in wounds, but that's a video for another day. In the anime, she has a gaggle of Hado and Bakudo feats and combos that would make Byakuya blush, but sadly, I'm mainly using the manga. But because she has no feats of Hado and Bakudo, she gets a demerit and can't go any higher. She's still in a good spot, and with a Kidō score of 100 in the first data book, she isn't considered the best healer for nothing. Number 7, Yamamoto. Yamamoto is sadly in the same boat as Unohana. The man has a lot of powerful statements going for him, and not a lot of actual feats. Yamamoto is stated to be the strongest Kidō user of the Soul Reapers, and he took control of the Kidō Corps in Tessai's absence. Now, strongest may be referring to solely power, but based on the context, I believe it just referred to proficiency as well. Yamamoto in the manga only has performed 2 Kidō feats. One was using a Bakudo with no name, number, or chant to put Momo to sleep, But to be fair, he probably could have done that just by flexing his SP a little, so kind of weird. But what takes the cake is performing one of the forbidden Hado spells in the 90s, Ito Kaso, which is 96, without an incantation whilst charged to a crisp. This may seem like a power feat, but to be able to do that while severely maimed shows control. Because if you attempt a large spell without proper control, it will fail. Just ask Aizen. Sadly, Yamamoto doesn't have any feats in Kaido, nor any implications he does, so that's another knock. If I include the anime, Yamaji has had some pretty powerful barriers and sealing techniques, but sadly I'm not. And his Kidō stat is also 100, so that's a pretty base to sit on. Number 6, Yoruichi Shihoin, is our second Shunko user on the list, and as stated before, the proficiency that is required in using, controlling, and elevating Shunko is the same, if not harder, than creating your own Kidō spell. Yoruichi seemingly perfected this technique before Soi-Fon did. Granted, she is older and had more time with the technique. So far, seemingly, no one has elevated to her level of power. Even when she didn't have the technique mastered, she could still perform high-level Kidō feats with her Shunko, like Hanki Sosai, which is nullifying a Kidō spell by matching its power while spinning the energy in the opposite direction. She did this to Soi-Fon's own Shunko. Going even further, Yoruichi can immediately throw out high-level barrier techniques, like she did when she was protecting the Mimihagi, showing she has very good Bakudo skill as well. She continues to be well-rounded in Kidō by having some skill in Kaido, the healing arts, but it's not an advanced skill. Yoruichi is a Kidō powerhouse, and it can't be denied. Now, her cat form probably could have gotten her higher on the list, but Kubo made conflicting comments about whether it's a Kidō spell or a Shihoin clan blood technique, so I will half count it for her. Number 5, Ichibe. Weirdly, he would be lower with Yamamoto and Unohana because of his lack of feats. However, he did one thing neither of them did: use a secret Kidō spell. Secret or forbidden Kidō spells are so unique and so powerful that it hints at a deeper understanding or knowledge of Kidō that regular Soul Reapers don't have. Ichibe, without an incantation, threw down Hyappo Rankan, and then followed it up with a forbidden spell that obliterated Yuhaba's advanced Blute Vein on Haben technique. Now, based on Ichibe's age, he probably should be number 1, but based on my criteria, he just doesn't flex his Kidō knowledge. Some of those ability he used against Yuhaba could be Kidō or some other form of power. We don't know yet, so sadly, this is as high as the monk goes. Tessai. First and foremost, Tessai is the first and only Kidō Corps captain we know of. To be the equivalent of Yamamoto in status for the Kidō Corps alone speaks to Tessai's power and proficiency as a Kidō master. I can't imagine that you could be the head captain of the Kidō Corps and not have mastered, or is capable of at least using, all Kidō spells. Tessai flexes his ability by casually throwing down Bakudo 99 Chantless, its advanced forms also, with ease. That is when we first met him, and he was flexing his Kidō powers. He even has the capability to heal people with Kaido. This isn't a weak form of Kaido either, as he healed a near-death Ururu successfully who had been impaled by Narankar's resurrection. When it comes to Hado techniques, he is also very powerful, throwing out a chantless Hado 88, which seems to have kept all of his destructive power as Kisuke himself got the hell out of the way. What gets Tessai this high is actually his time and space Kidō. He can isolate space and teleport at great distances, going from the Rukongai to the Squad 12 barracks. Along with that, he can isolate time on certain objects and people within that barrier. That's how he saved the lives of Love and the other Vizards. Tessai is nothing to sneeze at in the Kidō department. Hachigen Ushōda. Hachigen is what Tessai is, but holified. Hachigen showed that as a lieutenant, high-level Bakudo is in his wheelhouse. But what gets Hachigen over Tessai is just how easily and often Hachi uses forbidden Kidō. Hachigen's base Kidō boxes can manipulate time and space with ease. He can pause time acceleration techniques like Respira and then teleport the box. Mind you, he did this by severing his own arm, which shows great focus. Speaking of severing, he can close off his Kidō boxes by severing space after he's partially enveloped something or someone. He used this to decapitate several Menos Grande and cut off his own arm. He directly compares his Kidō skill to that of Orihime's Shunshin Rika Fullbring, and even reconstructs her broken Fullbring. This is either Kaido or straight up phenomenon rejection like Orihime. Either way, it's scary impressive. And finally, his barrier techniques. These babies are nasty. Not only can they completely erase spirit signatures, so they could hide from someone like Aizen for 100 years, but they can withstand the full might of hollified captains doing battle. I love Tessai, but I find these feats far more impressive. Sosuke Aizen. Inventing spells and modifying spells are high-class magecraft in any verse, especially in Bleach, so anyone can do that. They're pretty proficient. Aizen has amazing feats of Kidō, Bakudo 81, Hado 63, and Hado 90, all chantless. Those feats show mastery alone. What I think gets Aizen so much higher than the two time-space gods before him is performing Kirohitsugi at full power with no chant or name while being dampened by the restricting power of his seals. Aizen isn't a slouch in the modifying department either. It's not confirmed that he specifically created Million Escuda, but he did modify this powerful spell to trigger when someone targets the back of his neck. And the spell is definitely powerful as it completely negated Getsuga Tensho from Ichigo. Honestly, casting Kidō seems as easy to Aizen as breathing, and none was more impressive than when he used Hado 99 Goryun Tenmetsu. Hado 99 requires a user to pull on reishi and ley lines. To use this means that it requires refined control to use an outside source and mix it with your own Ryatsu. Although Hachi and Tessai probably could perform Hado 99, Aizen actually did it, so he gets the credit for it, and he did it effortlessly. Now this part is up for your interpretation. The white cloth Gin and Tosen used for teleporting was created by Aizen. This device requires special Kidō to use. Now this either means Aizen can perform the same time-space Kidō that Tessai can, or that he needs this technology to compensate for it. No matter what, he is familiar with time-space Kidō, so that is a feather in his cap no matter what. Now some may say, what about the Hogyoku? But there is no confirmation on how they are made, and the process could be completely unrelated to Kidō. This logic would also apply to Kisuke. Speaking of Kisuke is this high not just because he's my favorite character, but because he performed better feats than Aizen in the Kidō department. Let's just break this down. Feat number 1. Kisuke performed Goryu Tenmetsu just like Aizen did, but he did it in Can't Fear No World. And he did it better. The major difference between Kisuke using it and Aizen was when Kisuke used Hado 99, he did it without a ley line. Hado 99 requires ley lines of natural reishi to use, but Kisuke, who had no ley lines because he was in the world of the living at the time, pulled on the full-brain souls that Aura was manipulating in the middle of their fight. To be able to draw on souls for power is a whole different level of power and control, and honestly shouldn't even be possible. The only time Aizen used Hado 99 was using Soul Society's ley lines, which are pretty massive. Aizen maybe could do the same feat, but seeing as Kisuke has actually done it, he gets the credit for it. Reason number 2. Modified Kidō. Kisuke has multiple feats of modifying Kidō in this series, my favorite being the red laser Byakurai he used on transforming Aizen. As I said before, modifying and combining Kidō is a sign of a master, and Kisuke proved it when he mixed multiple Kidō over 60 together and included a full incantation 91 Hado with it while he was secretly hiding another Kidō in the mix of all of that. That's impressive in the middle of combat with Sosuke Aizen. That sheer onslaught of Kidō spells has been unmatched in the entire series to this date. Number 3. Kidō spell creation. Kisuke also has original spells that he has crafted. He copied the Hollow's ability to create stable Garganta to Hueco Mundo with a Kidō spell of his making. The one major created Kidō spell that everyone probably knows about is the spell designed to seal the Hogyoku, and he performed it without anyone noticing it. He created bracelets that seal off spirit energy just by touch. He can cast high-level Kidō chantless and even stop Zaraki with an unspoken, unnamed Bakudo. I mean, the list goes on, and Kisuke 100% deserves to be this high. There is a real possibility that Tessai assisted with the creations, but Kisuke is the one that uses them in practice, so he gets the credit, as practical usage of Kidō will always defeat theoretical Kidō every time in my book. So that's my list, guys. I hope you liked the video. Please leave your comments in the section below, like and subscribe. Y'all have a good day. Bye.